It is football night in the city of Riverside, week 0 opener, as the Lions of Arlington christen their new home field. They defend their Division 13 championship from last year against the Lakeside Lancers. It's old faces in new places. I'm Ghazal Hassan, he's Jeff Gorham. It's got to be special for Coach Kevin Argumosa. He's the head coach at Arlington. Came in his first year, won 7 of their last 9. They were the Division 13 champions. They get to christen their new field to boot.
Well, I guess when you win a CIF championship, after 49 years, 0 home games, they give Coach Kevin Argumosa his first home game and Arlington's first home game. So apparently, if you win a CIF championship, they build you a stadium.
All right, well, they set the bar pretty high winning that Division 13 title last year, but I think Coach Argumosa, he expects them to be successful last year, largely because of that huge offensive line. They're going to run that power out of that I-set.
Yeah, they started off. Remember, Coach Argumosa got the job a month before the season started, and they tried to run a spread, and he said, hey, it's not going to work. We're going to run smash mouth I, double wing formations, and I'll tell you what, since that day changed, they went on to win a CIF championship.
Let's flip over to the Lancers of Lakeside. Fourth-year head coach James Seidler. He had to rebuild the culture over at Lakeside as well. There are 3 teams in the Lake Elsinore area. They're kind of the newest school there. Made the playoffs, you mentioned, just the second time in school history. He's got 20 of 22 starters back last year, mainly his quarterback, Rene Maldonado, double threat quarterback who can throw and run the football, and Dorian Norwood, their tailback, 1,300 yards last year. They expect he may set a school rushing record this season, Jeff.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Seidler has done a great job, and that's from his Army background. He has had a complete buy-in from his players in the last few years, and they're going to just continue to get better and better and possibly get a league championship.
Week 0 action, the high school football game of the week from right here in the city of Riverside. It's Arlington and Lakeside coming up next, the CIF on Riverside TV.
Little bit of a quick start here, and Lakeside driving. They're already on the Arlington side of the field. First down give. This is the senior, Jonathan Gonzalez. Twist down to the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 5. Joe Hernandez, the senior, will split carries in the backfield with Dorian Norwood. We mentioned him in the open. 2nd and 5. Maldonado to throw. Complete to the outside. Close to a first down at the 35. Making the reception, Max Halterman. Well, Jeff, quick start for us. Happy to see you, though.
It's always great to see you, Ghazal.
First down from the 34 of Arlington. Drive started at the 46 of Lakeside. Hernandez again, wrestled down by the middle linebacker, Abe Gonzalez. Gonzalez, the senior, two-way player, one of the returnees from last year's CIF championship team. Ball moves to the 30. 2nd down and 5. Slashing down. This is the other Maldonado. Renee's younger brother makes the play. Maldo 2, they call him. Given name is Christian, and it's a 3rd and short. He gets to the 25.
It is great to be back here at this. What a great stadium, Ghazal. Fantastic, brand new stadium.
Maldonado up the middle, stumbles for the first down. The first man there was Gonzalez for Arlington. Well, they're going to say he stopped him. His knee was down, so it'll be 4th and 1. Here we go. Terrace Jenkins split to the near side. Halterman to the top of your screen. Maldonado takes it himself. He should have it. Rene Maldonado, the senior captain, moves the sticks. So it's 1st and 10 from the 23. Here's the handoff and tripped up immediately. The ball carrier for Lakeside. Nice job on the right side of that line by Arlington. Looked like Kyle Asgar stepping in there. So we haven't seen Dorian Norwood as of yet. Now, Coach James Seidler, the head coach at Lakeside, Jeff, he told us he wanted to use all 3 running backs today. This is Gonzalez, the deep back right now, in that I formation. 2 receivers to the near side. They're going to throw. Rolling, throwing to the outside, nearly picked off. In and out of the hands of Broderick Burke, the sophomore for Arlington, brings up 2nd down.
Yeah, that pass was nearly picked off. Hey, sorry to join in a little late here. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, and I think we've kind of figured it out now. Here, I'm telling you, what a great press box. Everything new here. It only took 49 years, though, Gazal. That's it.
Third down play, nice move by Hernandez. He gets down to the 10-yard line for a 1st down. Very close. I think they'll be able to get a 1st down at about the 2. They mark him at the 12-yard line. Let's get another look, Jeff.
Yeah, Hernandez. Oh, this is the pass before.
That's the previous play.
Hernandez jumped right off that right tackle. Perfectly played by the offensive lineman to push the defender, open that giant hole to get that 1st down.
Lakeside, they're not going to surprise anybody.
No, and
Run. That was the fullback that time. Noah Cohendarfer, and a penalty flag on the Lancers. So it'll still be 1st down, but the ball moves back to the 20-yard line, Jeffrey.
yeah, Coach Seidler, we talked to him before the game and talked to Coach Argamosa. Both run similar stuff. He said, hey, if we can throw the football, we can, but if not, it'll be a quick game. Both teams, running virtually the same sets here on offense.
Little wrinkle, delayed give, nice play, shooting the gap on the outside. The young man who got there first, Akili Thomas, young sophomore playing outside linebacker for Arlington. Nice play there by the young fella.
Week 0, we are back, Gazal. It just seems like yesterday we were. Oh, I shouldn't say we were here. We've never been here. But how fun is it to be back here in the city of Riverside, brand new stadium, defending CIF champs? It's just like the opening of the NFL. You always bring in the Super Bowl champ.
Play fake. Maldonado getting in trouble. Throws it for the end zone. Nearly picked off. Good coverage down the field. Halterman, the intended receiver. Instead, check that. That's the big tight end, Christensen. Christensen in a crowd. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, quarterback there, Roy was thrown on his back heel. Luckily, he threw it out of the end zone. It could have been very easily picked off. Could have been Arlington football right away here.
Now, Jeff, they can still get a 1st down at about the 2-yard line. 3rd down. Here's the toss. Dancing to the outside. And down to about the 5-yard line.
But you got to like the back. He didn't just try to run ahead of everything. He ran behind his line there, kind of slowed it up, and then kicked out at speed, showing the breakaway speed there. Great offensive set there.
Christian Reed on the run, running behind Big Tyler Hunt on the right side. Hunt, the right tackle. Christensen, the tight end, doing some blocking there as well. 4th down, and they'll go. Maldonado surveying. And he's down. Ball will go over on downs to Arlington. Fill in the play, Tristan Pasalakwa. Stops him at the 5-yard line, and the Arlington defense holds up, Jeff.
You got to like that. You can't let somebody score on the first drive in your new stadium. Arlington's showing some tenacity there.
I mean, that was big, Jeff, because once they got that first and goal or first and 10 at about the 12, you figured they'd at least be able to get 3. But nice goal line stand there by Arlington. These teams played last year in up in Lake Elsinore. Get another look at that play, Jeff. So first and 10 from the 5 for Arlington. Here's the give to the outside. Finding a little space, getting up near a first down. Ball carrier, Luke Rogers. Rogers, the senior, he's kind of their change of pace back. He'll split time with Bijan T-Bone Turner.
Did you say Bijan T-Bone Turner?
What a great nickname.
That is a great name.
7-yard pickup, make it 2nd and 3. They go right back to Rogers. First down and more. Tackle made by Dylan DeHardy, but not until Rogers got up to the 30-yard line.
Rogers might have had a couple extra yards there if he didn't bobble the ball. He looked like he was juggling there for about 2 or 3 yards, but great cut to get outside.
So and Arlington starting in the shadow of their goalpost, Jeff. They're all the way out to the 35-yard line now. First and 10. Fullback. This is T-Bone. Bijan Turner bulls up to about the 39-yard line. He's met there by DeHardy, among others.
Now, you and I watched Arlington last year early, and, it was a different offense. They were trying to run spread. Like you said, Coach Argamosa came in with, a month in before the season started. He didn't know exactly what he had with personnel, so he had to go in by trial by fire, and just realized after about the 6th game, he said, we might need to adjust. And they went to that smash mouth run-oriented offense.
Double tight, I form. Another handoff to Rogers, brought down around the ankles. Making the play on the outside, Christian Maldonado. Nominal gain of about 2 yards. Third down coming up just over the 40-yard line. Matt Ariano is our white hat today, and it's appropriate.
Yeah, because his father, Dan Ariano, who was a longtime football coach and basketball coach here at Arlington High School. So to open the stadium, what better is it to have the greatest Lion of them all, Danny Ariano's son, Matt, who teaches over at Martin Luther King High School, one of the best officials we've seen here in the area. Great college basketball official as well.
Here comes the pressure, the ball on the turf, and picked up, rolled back and was picked up by the quarterback, Eddie Ray, and it'll be 4th down, a loss back to about the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Ray played it smart, just kind of sat on the ground and picked up the football. Matt Ariano, I was just saying, he's a teacher up at Martin Luther King. He's has a brand new baby within the last year, so he's got a little pep in his step. He's the one guy, the white hat, that if you watch him before every game, he runs a dead sprint from sideline to sideline.
Nathan Duran will punt. He's back at about the 17-yard line.
I love the punters. Let's see what we got so far the first game of the year.
Looks like Christian Reed deep for Lakeside. No score as of yet. 4:21 to play in the first quarter and a timeout on the field. And we had to do a bit of a jump start, Jeff, but we mentioned it a couple of times. First home game on campus for Arlington in school history.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That is some wild, wacky stuff. Yeah, the school opened in 1973, so we're talking 49 years, and there have always been urban legends why Arlington could never have a football stadium, and we'll go over a couple of those. In fact, the main reason, let's go over this, is, let's go backwards, and there is a Van Buren Drive-In, which is just, an earshot away from here, and the rumor when I was a kid was you could never have a football stadium because it was too close to the drive-in theater.
And what was the last movie you saw at the drive-in over there?
I was over there about a month and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I went and saw Morbius. Might have been the worst movie I've ever seen.
With what's his name? With Jordan Catalano?
And
You're supposed to be scared of the guy from My So-Called Life?
no, I'm not scared of him, and I'm not scared of Jared Leto.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because he's like 5'2" and about a $110.
Durant to kick. Reed back deep, and the snap goes over Durant's head. He just downs it inside the 10-yard line, and Lakeside will go to work at about the 7.
But the real reason, Gazal, is there was a person that lived nearby that had a lawsuit, and they weren't allowed to build a stadium here because it would have affected the homes. And you look
It was
around,
the lights, right?
It was the lights, and they didn't want the lights here at night. And so that one person back in the early 70s either moved out or passed away. Thus, Arlington now has a football stadium due to that one lawsuit that is no longer here with us.
That sheds some light on the situation, Jeffrey. First and goal for Lakeside. Gonzalez dancing to the outside, gets through one tackle, and he's down inside the 5-yard line. Getting up from the bottom of the pile, Durant, who was just the punter. Also a defensive back.
But what a great facility here. Riverside Unified School District has really put in a lot of money into all of their schools here, all the high schools. Multiple gyms at nearly every site in RUSD.
Powell split out to the top of your screen. Jenkins to the bottom of the screen. But the give goes right up the middle. Is he in? He is not in. No signal as of yet. Down inside the 1. So Joe Hernandez getting the bulk of the carries for Lakeside. We have not seen Dorian Norwood as of yet. Third and goal, Maldonado. He is in. Touchdown, Lancers. So the two mishandles of the football turn out to be costly for Arlington. The fumble on the third down play, and then the bad snap over the head of the punter, Durant.
Yeah, I mean, first game jitters. We talk about it every year. In fact, last year, we had a game, I think Riverside Poly was our first game of the year, and they ended up winning a game they shouldn't have. I mean, but it's just anybody's game this first game of the year.
The PAT is up and good.
So a little sloppy so far from Arlington, but like you said, first game jitters. Hey, first game in a new stadium. They get to play in front of a home crowd, and that crowd is massive here tonight.
PAT by Harold Yepis. He had big shoes to fill. Adrian Serrato last year both kicked and punted for Lakeside. He was a weapon. In fact, when I talked to James Seidler, he said he may have been our best defensive player last year in terms of putting other teams in disadvantageous field position.
And you and I both know we've seen some great kickers here in the Inland
And
Empire.
Jeff, I know you love the kickers.
Oh, I love the kickers. You know, I still have yet to get my tattoo of Chavez, who's the great kicker at RCC, played at Valley View. I definitely need to get my Chavez tattoo on my.
Who was the young man at Norte Vista, Alfredo? Something that you were really fond of?
Oh, he was a pacifist.
Right.
I remember, yeah, I can't. He was a pacifist kicker. He refused to tackle. He would run it right off the field.
Did he really ask Ken Batdorf if he didn't have to wear a helmet?
Yes, he did. So
I love kids.
I can't see through
And
these
he was a good
bars.
kicker. He was a good kicker.
A great kicker. He got him. You know, it seems that's the story of everybody. You get the kicker off the soccer team, and they just don't understand the rules. Like, I have to see through these bars. I want to see a Ray Guy helmet. The one bar. Do you remember the one bar?
Luke Rogers and Healy Thomas deep. Here's Rogers from the 10. I do remember the one bar. Right up the middle, but Rogers will be tackled from behind, but not before he gets to the 40-yard line. Tackle on the play by Adrian Olarsaba.
Captain America, Luke Rogers, with a great run there.
So 7-0 in favor of Lakeside. It'll be Arlington football. Great stand by the Lions on the first drive. Look at it. There'll be a penalty on the play. There we go.
Yes.
The ball will move back. It looks like a block in the back against Arlington. And here, that was strange. The Lions got ready to break the huddle, and then the official marking it off. So now Arlington will start inside the 20.
To push back again. A great run, like I said, by Rogers. It's nullified by mental mistakes we've seen Arlington suffer so far here in the first quarter.
Give to Rogers trying the left side. Springs forward, goes down at about the 24-yard line. Stepping up, making the tackle, Jonathan Garay for Lakeside. So about 4 yards on the play, make it 2nd and 6. Nicholas Roman to the top of your screen. I form, double tight end set. Rogers up the middle. Gets met by Evan McGoffin in the middle. And waited for his buddies to show up. McGoffin, a two-way starter for Lakeside. Junior center, also plays defensive tackle.
Yeah, great shot there by the great crew here at Riverside TV.
We do have a wonderful crew. Third down. Eddie Roy, the quarterback. Roman to the top of your screen. T-Bone Turner is the tailback. Third and 6. Roy to throw. He's got time. Looking downfield, Durant actually slipped coming out of the break, and an incomplete 4th down. It was double coverage down the field.
The offense not being able to get a whole lot of momentum here. Like I said, costly mistakes have earned the Lancers 2 good scoring opportunities here in the first quarter.
Last snap didn't go so well for Durant, but right in his hands this time. Nice kick. Reed's got a backpedal, takes a nice Arlington bounce. Down inside the 29-yard line. Nobody touched it. Finally, Nicholas Roman came and downed it down at the 29-yard line. So a 46-yard kick, no return, and Lakeside will tee it up inside their 30.
It looks like, that's mistakes we're going to see. I mean, heck, Arlington guys were walking away. The Lancer could have just picked it up and ran with it. Luckily,
that just shows you. I'm a Jersey kid. I thought they were baiting him. Yeah. I thought they all had their backs turned, looking out of the corner of their eye.
Like,
once he picked it up, they were going to smash him like the Malachi Crunch. 1st and 10 for Lakeside. The give up to the 35-yard line. Rodriguez again. Mano a mano there. Tackled by Passalacqua. So timeout Arlington. Second-year head coach Kevin Argamosa, very nice man. We talked to him a little bit before the game. Came over after a couple of years as a defensive coordinator at Covina.
And then was at Jurupa Valley.
Dupa Jurupa.
With Rick Covington, who was the head coach. Now Rick Covington's on his staff over here at Arlington.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, but you know what the biggest thing is? I told Coach Argamosa, and I mentioned this. We mentioned it on the coach's perspective. I said, Coach, why did you come back? I said that you achieved the goal that every coach wants to do, so you could have joined us in the booth after 1 year.
Go out on top like George Costanza?
You're darn right. But what a great story. The guy gets a job 1 month before the season and really turns it around.
Well, I didn't realize this. He was happy where he was. They didn't have a teaching position for him. That was the issue.
Yeah.
Arlington, that's why he came to Arlington. He had a teaching position. And, oh, by the way, our head coach position is open for football. It all kind of fell into his lap.
It fell into it's very serendipitous.
I mean, I didn't realize this till today. He had to leave. He was kind of disappointed, but he said, I have 2 kids at home, 1 kid in college. I needed a job. And I said, it's funny how those doors open. 2nd and 5 coming up. Play action. looking down for the home run. Jenkins can't come up with it. On the coverage was Broderick Burke.
So he went from eating cup of noodles to steak dinner.
Well, I think his wife had a pretty decent job.
Yeah, that's true.
But
She worked at Harupa Valley. So they were working together with Rick Covington.
she's at Harupa now. He's in Arlington.
Oh, just what a perfect scenario for any coach.
Third down. Rodriguez dancing up the middle. Lunges forward to that lion visage at midfield. I almost said midcourt. First down. Picked up 7 on a 3rd and 5. That lion looks like the lion from the new Idris Elba movie.
Ooh, that looks pretty good.
I'm not a fan.
Is it called The Beast?
The
or-
Beast.
The Beast.
I'm not a fan of Idris Elba. I'm much more of an Eamon Walker guy.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. Big Oz guy. First quarter ticking away. It's 1st and 10. The give up the middle. Short gain.
They're saying Idris Elba might be the next James Bond.
I'd give it to Eamon Walker first.
He was good in that Thor movie, though. He was the guy that just he turned the big sword. Remember? He protected the realm.
Frank Cardenas with the tackle. That'll be the last play of the first quarter. Was it Love and something? What do they call the new
Love and Thunder.
I saw it. Yeah, Love and
Was
Thunder.
it any good?
Natalie Portman. I enjoyed it. I was a big Thor. Remember when we were kids? There was that Thor installation of the cartoon, right?
Yes.
It was Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, and the Submariner.
The Submariner.
And they've taken Thor, the Marvel comic universe, in a bit of a jokey direction. And I was this big Thor guy when I was a kid, so it's entertaining, but I don't know if I like that all that much.
So it's more of a comedy.
Kind of jokey.
Oh.
7-0 Lions after the first quarter, and we've talked a lot about Kevin Argumosa and Arlington, but how about James Seidler and Lakeside? They made the playoffs for just the second time in school history last year. Remember, they didn't start playing football until 2005, but he's got 20 of 22 starters back, and you wind it back to last November. They lost that game, a close game to Poly. Otherwise, they would have been second place in the league in the Inland Valley. This year in the Sun Belt, though, only 2 teams get automatic qualifiers because it's a 4-team league.
Oh, that's right.
So the degree of difficulty goes up, and you got Vista Del Lago in there and Poly in there. Both are going to be very good. Here's the give, and how do you do? In the backfield, wrestled back and taken down. Mucking things up is Cardenas again, and he's had a nose for the football here in this late first, early second quarter. Again, we have yet to see Dorian Norwood. Now, we talked with Coach Seidler before the game. Didn't mention any injuries. He could have been playing cagey, but he's generally a pretty straight-up guy with us.
He's an Army man. He's always honest.
Third down coming up. Let's see what they do. 4-man front for the Lions. Maldonado to throw. He's going to load it up. Fling it down the field. Intercepted. That's Durant with the pick. Durant to midfield. Knocked out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Huge turnover.
Yeah, and a flag is thrown in. Let's see who they call it on. We couldn't see a whole lot on that sideline.
If it stands, it'll be an interception for Nathan Durant. Matt Ariano restoring order. He's going to tell us what's going on. All coming back. So the interception stands, but illegal use of the hands. The foul on Arlington.
And that really has been in this first half. It's been the penalties and the miscommunication with the poor
Couple of
snap.
mistakes. They had a couple of mistakes. They trail set, but still very close game. Ball moves back to midfield. Still very good field position for the Lions. Tailback Rogers following the T-bone. 3-yard pickup. Tackle on the play by Christian Maldonado, younger brother of the quarterback Rene Maldonado.
Christian last year had 26 tackles as a sophomore. In the game these two teams played back on August 20th of last year, he had 5 tackles against the Lions. Clock continues to turn. 7-0 Lakeside, but Arlington on the Lancer side of the field. Roman and Rogers split out to the near side. Single back is Turner. So 2-by-2, little wrinkle for Arlington. Roy out of the shotgun. Gives to Turner. T-Bone breaks one tackle. Bulls forward. Leans forward inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. That should be a first down. 8-yard pickup by Bijan T-Bone Turner. Clock turning. Under 10 minutes to play in the second quarter.
Everybody's here tonight, including our favorite guy, Ken Badorf.
Very pleasant man.
Yeah, if you say so. If you say he's pleasant.
The ancient riverman of the River Valley League. He's the ferryman.
He's only been at Norte Vista for 117 years. You think he might want to retire eventually?
4 wide receiver set for Arlington. Turner the lone setback. Whistles, flags.
It's a who's who in Riverside, though, here tonight. Another big game that Riverside TV has going on right now is the battle for the city. Everybody says this is the city championship. JW North versus My Ramona Rams.
So penalty this time marked off against Lakeside. Ball up to the 34-yard line. So 1st and 5. Turner. Left side. Little juke move. Breaks one tackle. Here comes the flag. He's down just outside the 10-yard line.
I'll tell you what, we need more Turner. What a great run there. Hopefully
Rene Maldonado makes the tackle. He's the quarterback and the free safety. So he drops Turner after about a 25-yard gain just around the 12-yard line, but it looks like it's coming back.
There it is. That's more sloppy play. And that's just first game jitters. There's a hold on the...
You're pumped up, your first game
yeah.
at your home field. You're coming off a D13 championship.
I want you to think about this, though, Gazal. I was talking to Argamosa. They had 16 away games last year. Getting on a bus to go to Ramona.
It's interesting. You forget about that. You forget about all that stuff. Yeah, not having to get on a bus. That's one less thing the head coach has to do.
Yeah, because you always have that checklist.
So still first down. The ball moved back to the 35-yard line. Here's the throw to the outside. Complete to Nick Roman, and down he goes. First man there for Lakeside. DeHardy. Check that, Nick Chavez. So Chavez with the tackle. Ball back to the 36-yard line. Second down coming up. Loss on the play. Turn and give to Rogers right up the middle. And down he goes. Tackle by the big fella, Tyler Hunt. Now, Hunt, normally an offensive lineman, they're rotating him down to defense as well. That is what they do, to be fair. They have Reams and Pearson on the outside, Jeff, but the 3 guys on the inside are offensive linemen who rotate.
And you're going to have to rotate quite a bit, especially early on, just because the fitness of these guys. We don't know how great a shape these guys are in, and it's 86 degrees here at kickoff.
Here's Turner right up the middle. And T-Bone leans in and finally goes down at the 17-yard line, seeking contact, and he found Rene Maldonado.
Hey, T-Bone looks like another one of those great backs we've seen at Arlington. We've had a few of them over the years.
When Arlington is on, the one I remember, obviously, from that great run in 2017 under Rich Lunford's Jamon McGlory.
Jamon McGlory,
We
great
got to
player.
see him at RCC, but Turner a little bit more formidable, a little bit more robust. Rogers to the outside. Can he get the edge? Inside the 10, down he goes. Maldonado there, along with Isaac Hernandez. Ball inside the 10. So first and goal from the 8-yard line. Arlington, after the turnover, has moved down the field pretty expeditiously. Rogers finds some space, still fighting, still on his feet. He'll go down at about the 3.
Yeah, Rogers, the slight one, and T-Bone, just like he says, he's T-boning everybody.
Thunder and lightning. T-Bone goes about 220. Rogers about 160. And I think T-Bone's had a couple of pancakes since that weigh-in, Jeff.
I think he might have. Loves the IHOP.
That's my buddy Alan Zitzmeister. Whenever a guy's too skinny, he says that so-and-so needs to eat a few more pancakes. So I love that pancake reference. 6.5 to play here in the second quarter. 7-0. Been a fairly, I guess, clean, not in terms of flags, but it's been moving pretty quickly because both teams keeping the ball on the ground, Jeff.
Heck, we might be home. It's 7:35 now. We could be home by 9 o'clock the way these two teams are playing. But they haven't really moved beyond the south side of the field here. We have yet to see the newer version of the field on the north side.
Martin Mercado, the offensive coordinator for Arlington. Donald Hutch, defensive coordinator for the Lancers of Lakeside. Here we go. Ball marked at the 2, second and goal. Both teams rely heavily on the big boys up front. Offensive line. Roy gives to Turner. T-Bone. Touchdown, Arlington. And the home crowd has something to get excited about.
So in Trivial Pursuit, in future references, who scored the first touchdown at Arlington in school history?
The first touchdown scored at a home game is Bijan T-Bone Turner.
How sweet is that?
So tell Pep Fernandez so he can bring it back on the Inland Sports Show. I know you and your little buddy talk occasionally.
Oh, my little buddy. My boy Pep. He's all over Riverside tonight.
Marcus Cudahy, the place kicker. We got a story about him. No good. He misses it. So before the game, I didn't have a number 9 on my spot chart for Arlington. And we went down, we were talking with Coach Argamosa. Oh yeah, we're handing out the uniforms, and Marcus wasn't there. I had to give it to him later. I didn't write it down because he was at the dentist. You got real angry.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I am a true anti-dentite. When I heard that,
for whatever reason, I don't know, childhood experience, does not like dentists.
No, I really don't. And I had a really nice dentist, and I have really nice teeth. Never had any braces, no cavities. Had some broken teeth playing basketball. But man, I'll tell you what. I don't like people jamming their fingers in my mouth. I don't like a guy that close to me. I don't like my space invaded.
So 6:25 in the second quarter, a 2-yard run by Bijan T-Bone Turner. And Arlington within 7-6. The PAT misses. Perhaps still dealing with that Novocaine.
Could be.
Hey, you're in the booth. I'm going to blame the dentist.
You have to. I blame dentists for everything. I blame dentists for the inflation.
Cudahy with the kickoff. Dylan DeHardy back deep with Christian Reed. This is Reed from the 18. Trying to go to the middle and down he goes.
You know what I was most impressed, though, by when we went down on the field? There were all these players, and you happen to look and say, hey, I don't recognize that number. That's impressive. That means you've been studying hours and hours and hours.
Because I didn't see the number. That's the whole thing. It was a number that wasn't on the list.
And how did you know that?
I just looked at it. I
That's
just was
amazing.
trying to orient myself with the players.
That is incredible. You have a photographic mind.
From the 26, Lakeside. 7-6 now. They have a lead. Rene Maldonado behind center at the controls. Nominal gain. Again, Joe Hernandez carrying the weight. About 3 yards on the play.
Now, we do have some new leagues this year we need to talk about with some of the Riverside teams. Gazal.
Hernandez has some space first down, gets to the second level, and he's taken down there.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, though. They call the new conference with the Big 8 and the Southwestern League, they call it the Big West Conference.
The Big West, yeah.
Now, as the Big West in the college ranks, they've got to be a little, I wonder if they're aware of this.
They don't have football. Well, here's the funny thing is that was the same week. There was an article the same week that I did the interview with Dan Butterly when we talked about bringing back Big West football. So it looked interesting. From the 41, a first and 10. Naked boot. Nice move there by Maldonado. Gets up to midfield. Shoved out of bounds by Roderick Burr.
Those of you that aren't familiar, the Big West is a Division I conference, not known for football, but at one time, was it the PC2A when they were football?
Well, it was an FBS conference, so here's the twist about the Big West. The Big West, I believe, stopped playing football in 2001. It was November of 2001. But until 1997, Boise State played in the Big Sky. The Big Sky is FCS football. It was once called 1AA. Get a look at Maldonado on the sweep. Got a first down into Arlington territory at the 49. Good first down run up the middle.
Yeah, in fact, was Long Beach State one of the last football teams?
Long Beach, Fullerton, Pacific,
And wasn't the great
UNLV, New Mexico State.
wasn't the great George Allen the coach at Long Beach State? And they killed him. They poured the Gatorade. The Gatorade bath killed him.
The point I wanted to make is Boise State went from the Big Sky to the Big West, and that's how they got into the FBS. Their first year playing FBS football, 1997, in the Big West Conference.
There you go.
6-yard pickup on the play, and right back up the middle, another first down. So running the ball right behind their big boys. Tackle on the play made by Nathan Durant for Arlington. Ball carrier on the play again, Joe Hernandez. So we've not seen Dorian Norwood tonight. Clock moving.
But yeah, the Big West Conference, it's comprised
The Southwest and the Big Eight.
So that is the top division, or I should say the top conference in that giant super conference.
They do that interlocking schedule, right? What
Yes.
they're doing.
But see, I have a whole thought about this. I was talking to Steve Madrill, Arlington legend here, former baseball coach at J.W. North and Martin Luther King. And he said, hey, it's been 22 years since we've had the real Ivy League, which was the original 5 or 6 schools in Riverside. And that included La Sierra, Norte Vista, not Hillcrest. It was Arlington, Poly, Ramona, and North. And he kind of wants to bring that conference back. I don't know if we can do that, but there are alternatives, which I looked into a little bit today, talking to Coach Ken Batdorf, and we'll go over that just here in a minute.
Hernandez to the 31, 2nd and 4. First man through, and he's bent back by the middle of the line.
And you and I talked a little bit about this last year.
Pasalakwa, the first man there, got some help afterwards. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, no, I was saying, you could have a preseason schedule, tournament setup-wise. You just have open games on your schedule, and you basically do a round-robin tournament with these 6 or 7 schools in Riverside. that could be your preseason going into conference, which is a great idea. I think that would facilitate and make Steve Madrill happy.
3rd and 2. They overthrow Max Halterman. And it'll bring up a 4th down. Let's see what James Seidler does.
But how cool would it be to have a true city champion every single season?
So they're going to go on 4th down.
Making a big play here.
James Seidler going to put all the chips on pass. Going to try to hit the point and pay out on the pass line. Timeout called by Arlington. The defense wants to talk it over. I've always thought what you do is you take the 8 teams that are not king and put them in a 4x4, put them in a conference with 2 4-team pods, and that way you can play across the pod, and you have certain rivalry games that you play every year. North and Poly got to play every year. Novi and Ramona got to play every year. Hillcrest, La Sierra, you got to play that every year. And then I would leave Notre Dame and Arlington.
But how cool would it be? You could really open the schedule. You just don't fill it in, and then weekly, if you wanted to.
And then King could probably play 3 of those teams a year if they wanted.
Of course they could.
I understand what Coach Madrill is talking about.
And what's he doing now? He gave up the coaching ranks at the Martin Luther King as baseball. I think if he does, still teaching up there, but he's got little kids that are great baseball players. Wants to be dad, I think.
There's something to be said. I mean, you did that. You want to grow. You and watch your kids play growing up.
Yeah.
You come do this, but you spend the time with the Lukester and Fast Johnny.
Hanging out with them. Hey, I have Fast Johnny now wants to be an actor. He was in 2 plays this summer.
What plays did he do?
He was in Seussical the Musical and Willy Wonka. He was a Oompa Loompa.
4th down. Maldonado looks like he's trying to do the hard count. They'll snap it and they'll give it. Looks like they got it.
Flag thrown in a little bit late there.
Late flag. We'll see what that's all about.
A little chicanery.
As we're under 3 minutes to play. Skullduggery. We'll see what that's about.
Oh, it's great to be back with you, Gazal.
Same here, buddy. They're going to mark that off against Arlington. That's the big one, too. Half the distance. So the game was up to the 22 for a 1st down. That was Joe Hernandez on the carry again, and now they'll get half the distance to the 11, so a 1st down. They can still get a 1st down just outside the 1-yard line, meaning Lakeside. They lead at 7-6, and Arlington snuffed that one out. Tristan Pasalacqua down below. Up top, Abe Gonzalez cleaned that up. How do you do? 2nd down. Gazal Hussain, Jeff Gorham with you. Week 0. Welcome back, folks.
I don't like the week 0 name. It's called week 1. No. It's not a number.
Another line, another line, and nothing doing for Lakeside. Jay Castillo in there on the hit for Arlington. Will bring up 3rd down.
Now it's the inaugural Hall of Fame here this weekend as well here at Arlington High
Big weekend at Arlington High.
All the pomp and circumstance of winning a CIF championship. And they're going to induct their 1st class into the Hall of Fame. I'm going to tell you right now, one of my all-time favorite athletes is going in tomorrow out of Arlington. Chris Harper, who was a phenomenal basketball player and track athlete, played at Oregon, was an All-American, played at, was All-Pac-10, played overseas, in fact, still lives over in lovely old England. He's over here for the induction ceremony. Was the best.
Well, that's big time. If he came in from England.
It's big time. And I'll tell you what.
Either flights are cheap or it's big time.
Yes, I think it's big time. But the best track athlete I ever saw in high school.
What events did he do?
He was a long jumper, the best long jumper the city's ever had, and could just fly. One of the best middle distance running, 400, 800, but a great long jumper and high jumper.
3rd and 20. Maldonado looking to the outside. Intercepted. Akili Thomas with the pick. A nice move at midfield. With the speed of Odin's Ravens. All the way down inside the 20-yard line. Home crowd happy about something. Young Akili Thomas with the big turnover.
So 2 pickoffs here in the first half for Arlington.
Now looks like there's a flag, so they're going to bring it back to the 40. So it'll be 45 seconds. I believe they have 1 timeout left, meaning Arlington. They want to try to make something happen. Just jump the route. Thomas just saw it was coming. Breaks down there and breaks the tackle at about midfield.
There's that hit. Go against the Lions.
So it actually, they move the ball back to midfield. So 45 seconds. You get a first down in the middle of the field, and then take your chances. Young Eddie Roy was on the freshman team last year. 2x2 for Arlington. Turner, the lone man in the backfield. They'll give it to the T-Bone. Tackled after about a 5-yard pickup. Jonathan Garay makes the hit, and flags fly.
There's those first game mistakes here.
You're hyped up. Opening game, you've been waiting for a month and a half to hit somebody. Matt Ariano, our white hat, will sort everything out. Very reasonable, negotiating. Looks a little bit like Prop Joe from The Wire.
But what a great story. You know, his father, Dan Ariano, a Ramona graduate in the Ramona Hall of Fame, coached here for many years with boys football and basketball. But how cool is it that this man right here is on the field for the first time, that, you know, the high school that his dad really kind of built since 1973.
And we're talking before the game. Have they dedicated the stadium yet? Have they named it yet?
I'm not too sure. We're going to have an interview, hopefully, with John Corona, longtime coach here. In fact, took over for Danny Ariano as the head basketball coach here at Arlington High School. And we're going to hopefully get some answers and talk a little bit about the inductees into the Hall of Fame.
Here comes the blitz. Roy's going to get swallowed up. Right on the painted lion visage at midfield. The pressure came from Dylan DeHardy. He stepped up in the pocket, and there was nothing doing. And that'll be the end of the first half. 7-6, Lakeside leading. Bit of a white knuckler here. Bit of a kind of a drag-out brawl in the first half between these teams, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I mean, a really good half. I mean, considering it's the first game of the year, couple mistakes, but a couple big plays from both teams.
Right.
Couple interceptions by Arlington to kind of make up for the mistakes.
If you're a Lakeside guy, you're happy they've been moving the ball. And Arlington's been moving the ball, and they made a couple of nice plays on defense. Really, the difference in the game is the one misplay, the bad snap on the pump. That's the difference right now.
That is the difference, and the missed point after
PAT.
attempt. Yeah, so, I mean, really, what a great game to start the season with the reigning CIF champions.
7-6, Lakeside leads Arlington. Opening game from Arlington's brand spanking new home field. We'll step out momentarily and come back with halftime festivities from here in the city of Riverside, the CIF High School Football Game of the Week. Jeffrey and I are back momentarily.
And welcome back to Riverside TV's Game of the Week as Arlington and Lakeside are going at it here in the inaugural, the first game ever in 49 years at Arlington High School. And I'm joined by a legend himself. He coached here for a number of years, in fact, a phenomenal basketball coach, and then went on to King High School where he took the cross-country team to new heights. He is John Corona. Coach Corona, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate even somebody wanting to talk to me.
Oh, Coach, I'll tell you what, you and I go back my entire life, basically. And I remember, we talked a lot about Danny Ariano in the first half here. Maybe you can refresh to some of the people that don't know who Danny Ariano was, and to the people that do know who he is, maybe give us a little insight of how he was so instrumental in the building of Arlington High School.
Well, Danny, first of all, one of my best friends ever, and had a lot to do with the progress that I made in my career. And I miss him every day. And Danny got hired on as an assistant coach the very first year the school was open. I remember Sam Peachy told me one time that when he went to hire assistants, because Sam was the new first head coach and our athletic director here, and he said he was trying to figure out the young men who had played for him at Ramona who hated losing the most. And Danny was one of those guys. And
yes,
I certainly, having coached with Danny many years in basketball and with him as a fellow staff member here at Arlington, that certainly fit part of his personality. He was a coach's coach. He had his kids prepared every week. It didn't matter who the opponent was. It didn't matter what. I mean, in 1980, we didn't have a starter taller than 6'2", and we finished second in the tough Ivy League at the time.
Yes.
And lost a double overtime game in the playoffs. He was just amazing that way. His kids were always prepared and ready to compete.
And really, the school's been around since, 1973, correct?
It opened in fall of 1973.
And really, you had Sam Peachy, another legend here in Riverside. That really was a great group to start a phenomenal high school. And to just think, for 49 years, they've never had a home game here at Arlington High School. It's, we talked a little bit about the reasoning behind it. But there's something special going on besides the opening of this wonderful new stadium. There is an inaugural Hall of Fame that will be going on this weekend, in fact, tomorrow. And you're a big part of that.
I'm on the committee, and we spent about an hour, or not an hour. We spent over a year preparing for this. I'm right on the field right now. You can see the 6 people that are getting inducted, and our team of distinction. And that football team in 1973 set the tone, really. I mean, for years and years and years, we were the gutty little Lions. And again, we weren't afraid to take on whoever came down the pike, and we were going to fight you to the end. And as you know,
yes.
You played many times against my teams.
Yes.
And we didn't win very often, but we played you tough. And it set the tone for everything. And being the 50th year, and with the new stadium and the new look on campus, we thought that this was the time to do it. Tacey Duncan, our athletic director here at King, I'm not King, sorry.
You've been, hey, Coach, I know. Hey,
I used to, at the team cheer at King, every once in a while I go, Lion Pride. Oh,
exactly,
yeah, okay. Coach? Yeah, anyway. But Tacey, the AD here at Arlington, has done a tremendous, tremendous job in getting this off the ground, and we're real excited about the induction banquet tomorrow night.
And tell us a little bit about some of the athletes and contributors that are going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, our contributor is Marco Quesada. Mr. Quesada came on campus early on. His son was with the first team in '73. They had 6 kids come through Arlington, and he was very involved as booster president, involved in all the athletics, and even as a grandfather. Served as baseball booster president. And then Danny, of course, as I mentioned, this has been a long time coming as far as I'm concerned for Danny.
I agree.
And he deserves every bit of it. And Sam Peachy, of course, our first AD, our first football coach, and again, another guy who was like a father to,
He was a father to me almost, and I had a great dad here in Riverside.
Right,
you were a father to me too, though, Coach.
Well, you can stop that now. If you say grandpa, then we're going to have a problem here. But they, Sam, there were 3 of us that started the same year. Bill Grisham, who tremendous water polo coach, won something like 3 sets. Gary Rungo, right?
Great baseball coach, legend.
And myself, and he just shepherded us along. and along with guys like Danny and Bud Kane, who won a CIF championship at Temecula
Exactly.
Valley
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So Sam's very deserving. And then you got Linda Harris, one of the first great three-sport athletes
Yes,
here.
very much.
Softball, basketball, volleyball. Sally Konar, tremendous track, cross country, and basketball player. Sally was MVP like every year of her teams.
Yes.
And then Lucas Duda, 11 years.
Hey, dude,
11 years in
played
the
in
major
Mets.
leagues.
Yeah, stud. Yeah.
11 years in the major leagues. And then Chris Harper. And I've said this over and over again.
Best athlete in Riverside.
I have said that to many people.
Yeah, in fact, I said the same thing in the first half.
Certainly at Arlington High.
Yes,
And
yes.
he still holds 5 school records in track. He still holds what is it? I think it's 9. He was. I forget. So I'm getting lost.
Oh, no.
The list is endless. So I apologize.
And a great collegiate career. Played professionally overseas and lived over in Europe.
Yeah, he's still living there now.
Still over there.
Yeah. We've been able to reconnect because of this.
And you said tomorrow he's going to be on.
It looks like we got him coming in virtually at 2:30 his time in the United Kingdom.
That's great.
So we'll see how that technology. Who knows? But
now this is tomorrow afternoon.
The doors open at the Arlington High Gym at 5:45. The program starts at 6:30. Your good friend and mine, Pep Fernandez, is the MC.
My little brother, my buddy.
And we're going to get these 7 people inducted and the team of distinction, our 73 football team.
Now, you've been at, like I said, you mentioned you were at King High School and did a tremendous job there. You were here for how many years were you at Arlington?
I was here 21 years.
21 years. You and I play. I was a player at Ramona, and you and I go back a number of years. And how exciting is it to see this all come to fruition?
I got here tonight, and honestly, Jeff, I was just overcome with excitement, with emotion.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of the old faces are here. I ran into one of my old track because I coached track here at basketball and track here at Arlington, and it wasn't cross country again.
That's right.
It was track.
Oh, it was track. You're right.
So anyway, I just ran into Alvin Barber, and it's just and seeing the old babysitters, youngsters that were now adults, have their own kids.
Yeah.
It's just a real emotional night, and I've been looking forward to this for over a year, and it's just awesome.
Yeah,
just awesome.
I came inside. This is the first time I had been here as well. I came in with Ken Batdorf. We came over from school today. I'm over at Norte Vista with him, and I got a little teary-eyed walking in here. And I'm a Ramona guy. I should be like yelling and screaming and saying, "Why are they building this stadium?"
Yeah, right.
But I did. I got teary-eyed, and I thought of the friendships that you mentioned, the Sam Peachies, the Danny Arianos. I mean, we're talking about Danny Ariano was a guy that coached basketball and football at the same time. Very at the time happened occasionally, but he was very good at both.
Danny, he was the head baseball coach here.
That's right.
The head basketball coach here, and the head football coach here.
That's amazing.
And then once he stepped down from the head football job, he continued on as an assistant for years in all 3 sports.
He did.
In all 3 sports. He loved athletics. Danny loved it. He loved the competition. And his teams mirrored his personality. Danny, they weren't going to back away from anybody. And it was, for me, it was just a great joy. I got plenty of stories I could tell you, but we don't have the time. And but he taught me a tremendous amount. And you know what? One of the biggest lessons I ever learned from Danny was about friendship. Just great guy.
A great guy.
Love him to death.
The great story about tonight is his son Matt, who you worked with over at King High School, is the white hat tonight. So, I mean, that kind of made me emotional as well, because you think about it, his dad was part of the foundation, and for his son to be here on the field, it's got to be just an honor for him.
Matt's on the committee too, and when he found out that this was the first football game, he said right away, "I'm getting that game. I'm going to ref that game." and again, it's been I've been around a long time, but I remember when Matt would sit with his mom 2-3 rows behind the bench, and watch his dad do his thing,
and now he's a new father, which is great. I mean, it's wonderful and kind of serendipitous that this all came to fruition.
The one thing that has never been lost on me in my time here and my time afterward, that here at Arlington they've always talked about Lion pride, Lion family, and Jeff, I got to tell you, it's all true. It's all true.
Well, he is John Corona, and I want to say this personally. Coach Corona has been a family friend of mine and a hero to my brother and I, and my father, who's my late father. All consider you a friend, and you're the first person I thought of when I thought of doing this game tonight here at Arlington. So
Well,
thank you for joining us, and go Lions, or Lion Pride all
Lion
the way.
Pride, that's
Lion
right.
Pride.
1, 2, 3, Lion Pride, that's right. Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate the opportunity, and we'll see you. I'll see you down the road, brother.
You got it. Well, he is John Corona. We're going to be back with the second half as Lakeside leads 7-6 over the Lions of Arlington here at the opening of the beautiful new stadium here on Riverside TV. We'll be right back.
Gazal and Jeff back with you, about to bring you the second half. 7-6 in the first half, the lead to Lakeside. Here's Rogers getting an early run, being taken down just inside the 45-yard line. Good running on both teams. Here's the first touchdown from Rene Maldonado, gets in to make it 7-0. And then a couple of miscues through the air for Maldonado, looking down the field, got hit as he threw, and had that one picked off, coming back the other way. Couldn't capitalize, though, is going outside, running again is Rogers. Lakeside had their opportunities, but that turnover hurt them a little bit. We have yet to see their leading rusher also from last season come back. Not sure if that's an injury or they're holding him out, Deshaun Norwood. They call him T-Bone.
I love T-Bone.
Bijan Thomas sets up the first touchdown. Just physical running between the tackles north and south, and then getting inside the 10-yard line. That's Rogers. So a little bit of a nice little 1-2 punch, and then Thomas takes it in. Check that. Turner takes it in. This is Thomas with the pick. Akili Thomas with the interception. And looked like they might set something up. There was a penalty that brought it back. They looked like they might set something up, but nothing doing in the second half for Arlington. Late in the second half for Arlington, it's 7-6. That's where we stand now here, and it'll be Arlington to get the ball. So I was thinking, because Arlington knew they were getting the ball, maybe they'd try something, but obviously 45 seconds, 50 yards is a long way to go in 45 seconds.
Yeah, and they kept it close. Might as well just say, hey, we're not going to have an opportunity to give up the football. We're going to get it right back. Let's see if the Lions can do something here. The start of the second half. Our game one, we're going to have 20-plus games again this season. In fact, I believe 24 games, including RCC games. The community college that went to the national championship 2 years ago and went to the finals, state finals this past year. So looking forward to calling some games. Games will be at Ramona High School this year, too.
Harold Yepes will tee it up and kick it off. Rogers deep along with Thomas. This is Rogers from about the 16. Drops, needs to pick it up, and down he goes. Nice job cleaning it up for Lakeside. Making the tackle, Adrian Alarsaba, starting cornerback for the Lancers. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Arlington as they kind of go back to the drawing board. If you're Argumosa, Coach Argumosa, what did you tell your team in the locker room, Jeff?
Hey, we've just got to shore up those mistakes. We have to play smart football. You have nice runs. You can't have block in the backs. You can't have holdings. You just have to play smart football. Settle down, get in your groove, and play your type of football, which we're seeing right here. Run the ball.
Rogers running right. Good job by Lakeside, just sealing off that right side. I guess their left side, the right side of the offense for Arlington. Nominal gain. Dakota Pearson causing some trouble over there. Now, it's funny. His coach, James Seidler, calls him a nerd. Okay?
What?
He's 6'4", 260 pounds, has a 3.8 GPA. But he said, no, he's a nerd who's really good at football. That's what he said. Loves his motor. He says he's one of those kids who's just a really good football player. Second down. The give to the first man through. And they're keen. They made an adjustment up front, have the Lancers early, because Turner was burning them, and they didn't do so there. A surge in the middle of the line. Again, they rotate in the middle. McGuffin and Lewis are the starters, but you'll see Tyler Hunt. Hunt's their starting right tackle. Great student. Got multiple offers. At 6'5", 300, he can dunk a basketball, Jeff. You and he should have a dunk contest.
I don't know if I can still dunk anymore, but I could give it a darn good shot.
Give you a couple weeks to get in shape.
I could do it.
From the 18, it's 3rd and 10. Roy's going to throw. Here comes the pressure. And he just gets it away. So 4th down coming up, and that was a great defensive stand coming out of the half by Lakeside. I almost called you Alan, Jeff.
That's okay, Alan. Zinsmeister.
AZ texted me, so I was confused. Donald Hutch dialing it up, the defensive coordinator for Lakeside. Oh, they called that grounding. So loss of down, the ball goes back to the 2-yard line. There's a minute left in the first half across town. It was Ramona 21, North 13 last I checked, Jeffrey.
Wow.
Nathan Durant, tough punt here. Manages to get it away. Takes a bit of an Arlington bounce. I don't get down on the Lakeside side of the field, barely. 49-yard kick, no return. So good field position for the Lancers. Let's see what they can do. They took the opening kickoff and went right down the field.
Yes, they did.
So let's see what they can do here. We mentioned James Seidler, retired Army vet. Now, he's got an interesting story. He played for Sylmar in high school and, in fact, won 1994 CIF City Championship. They beat Crenshaw that year.
The Shaw.
His senior year. That was in the aftermath of the Northridge quake. Devastated so many families up in the San Fernando Valley. Quick swing out to Terrace Jenkins. Jenkins using the speed inside the 35.
I'm curious to know what Coach Seidler's off-season team building would be like with that guy. Army vet, tough guy.
But, you talk to Coach, he's a little bit more cerebral. He did a lot of different things. He was a fireman, military firefighter, yeah. First down, a 12-yard pickup to the 38-yard line of Arlington. Jenkins to the near side. Late give. Trying to escape, but he can't. He goes down. First man in was Abe Gonzalez, and helping clean it up was Jeremy Rodriguez for Arlington. Joe Hernandez on the carry for Lakeside as we tick under 10 minutes to play third quarter. Look at the Lakeside defense. Actually, Lakeside offense. Arlington on defense, obviously. Powell to the top of your screen. Jenkins to the bottom of your screen. Pump fake. He's going to line it up. Is Maldonado looking for Jenkins one-on-one. Incomplete. And here comes a flag.
Wow, that's a tough call. I don't know if they're saying he was pushing him out of bounds, but it looks like the contact might have been after he was out of bounds.
Naked eye, I thought Burr had pretty good coverage, but I'm sure we'll get another look at it. As long as both guys are going for the ball,
they're going to
wave
it
it off.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Was there contact? Yes, there was contact. I don't know if the contact was the reason he didn't catch the ball. I thought Burr squared up pretty well and had pretty good coverage.
Yeah, they were squared up until they went out of bounds, and I think
it's like in basketball, you wall up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He was turned. You don't wall up in football, but he had his back square. He was square to the football. But good. Let's look at it again. Seidler talks about Jenkins, one of those guys who can take the top off of a defense.
Oh yeah, he was out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a little contact, but he was beyond the boundary there. Gonzalez bounces it outside. Nice contain in pursuit by Arlington. Tackle on the play. Daniel Gonzalez, sophomore. His older brother, Abe, is the starting linebacker and offensive lineman for Kevin Argumosa, who's the defensive coordinator. So fourth down coming up. Let's see what Lakeside does here. They've not punted all night. And this will be no different. Now, I know Rene Maldonado can do that quick kick, but he's under center, so I doubt that'll happen here. 4th and 9. Trying to draw offside, it looks like. The toss, and down he goes.
Great defensive stop there.
Gonzalez blew up the play. Ball carrier was Christian Reed. So we have not seen Deshaun Norwood tonight. Wonder if that's an injury situation. Maybe they're just holding it out. Ball over on downs to Arlington.
Now, Gazal, what did you do in the offseason? Did you do anything fun? Did you do anything we can discuss over the past?
Mixed company?
Yeah.
Castillo there, too. Big Jay Castillo made a big play for the defense. And now Arlington gets to turn it around. From the 37. Rogers hit immediately. Down he goes. Angelo Morris there for Lakeside, among others. Well, offseason, you know what I did. I did a lot of basketball. I did some baseball. Got a chance to do some minor league baseball in May.
You and I did it.
Thanks to your friend Michael Scott. Yeah.
What a great time that was.
This is the big guy, Turner, pushing the pile up to the 44-yard line.
The T-bone.
Third down and about 5.
The Gorhams did some team building this summer, the Gorham family. I took my kids and threw them in a cage in Hawaii, dove with sharks.
Oh, you dove with that? I remember you telling me that. That's great. a great experience for the youngsters.
Yeah, that was my little boys were shark meat. Hey, we ran into a tiger shark. Didn't like us.
3rd down and 4, line is the 43, and whistles and flags come in.
And there's the sloppy play. Game 1 right there. Game 1, week 0.
I got to do some nice things. I was able to do a little rendezvous with our old friends John Ramey and John Maxwell when Mr. Maxwell was in town with the Las Vegas Aces. I got to see some live music down at the Belly Up.
Wow.
The great Dave Alvin. I don't know, you know, the Blasters, and he sings that fourth. I got to hear him sing 4th of July. I never got to hear Sinatra sing Summer Wind, but I got to see Dave Alvin sing 4th of July about 2 days before the 4th of July, which was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So the penalty makes it a 1st and 10 for Arlington from the 47. They have 53 yards to go to the end zone. Here's the give, putting his foot in the ground and not having much luck. Loss on the play. Corin Logan, the ball carrier, back to the 46-yard line.
I don't know if you know this, Casal. Not only did Arlington here have a brand new field, Ramona High School has a brand new field.
Field, right? Turf,
Yeah,
right?
turf.
Yeah. I did know that. Somebody, I think you might have told me. You might have told me.
In fact, John
Doesn't King have
King has one as well, and North is getting one next year.
2nd down, the give to Turner. Turner rumbling between the tackles. 2nd level, down he goes. Around the ankles, grabbing him and pulling him down was Rene Maldonado, and Maldonado got the worst of it, 1st down.
And there's where you're going to start seeing that fitness we talk about, the second half fitness. First game of the year, guys are going to get tired. And when you're facing T-bone like that, you're going to be tired.
21 yards for Turner on that play, reminiscent of John Riggins. Back from the 80s. Remember John Riggins?
Oh, he was great. Played for the Redskins. He played somewhere else before, though.
He was a Jet. He was a New York Jet.
He was great there.
At our University of Kansas. 1st down and 10 from the 33. Ball loose on the turf. Nice job by the center to pick that off. Actually, that was Mario Abasolo. And he looks like he's a little ding there. Abasolo pounds the turf. Hopefully he's okay. The athletic training staff comes out for Arlington. And you hate to see that happen in the first game.
That's the first injury we've seen tonight, which is great. You know, that's the one thing I always think about is the safety right before the season. You don't have to be religious or anything. Just you always hope and wish for the safety of these young men.
I mean, this is a team, Arlington, last year that really kind of thought their season might be over, you know?
Yeah.
And they ended up playing 16 games. We got Ken Backdorf in the booth. Ken, is 16 games too much for a high school team to play? No? Okay. We have the injury here, so Jeff's going to hand Coach. So, Coach, what brings you out? Obviously, I know you're scouting a little bit, but you wanted to see the new stadium, correct?
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's really exciting to open a stadium. 22 years ago, I was lucky enough to open up the one at Norte Vista. And just the excitement around it, you got to love it. You see all the alumni come back. You see the Hall of Fame people. And I'm really impressed with Arlington. They're playing outstanding football.
It looks like Abasolo, looks like he kind of pounded the turf as if it was a serious injury, but he looks no worse for the wear, walking off under his own power. There's Kevin Argamosa, the head coach. Now we got Kevin and Ken in the same league now, because, you know, Arlington in the River Valley League now, so I got to be careful. 5:17 to play here in the third quarter. Ghazal Hassan with you, Jeff Gorham. We got Coach Ken Batdorf from Norte Vista on the headset right now. 2nd down coming up. What would you run here, Coach? I'm kidding. I know what you'd run.
Hey.
Give the ball to Eddie Elaine.
He graduated, though.
I know. It's true.
We'll bring him back, though. It's all right.
The give in the backfield, and Lakeside getting back there. That was T-Bone Turner going down. How'd you not get Turner? He looks like a Novi kind of a back.
You know what?
I don't want to get you in trouble.
I'm looking at him going, yeah, I love that kid. He looks like a Norte Vista fullback to me all day long. Heck, he might be able to play tailback for us. But how do you not like a name like T-Bone?
Dijon, T-Bone. I mean, Dijon's good enough. You throw the T-Bone in there. That's extra. Third down coming up.
Hey, I'm all day long on the T-Bone.
What's your cut, Coach? When you go to a steakhouse, what do you get?
If my wife is trying to make me eat healthy, I'll eat the filet. Otherwise, it's a ribeye.
Okay. Play action. Loy throwing to the outside. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Nathan Durant, and he'll bring up fourth down. Instead, third down comes up. Well, second down play right there. So Abasolo, remember, he went off with the injury. He's back, so that's good to see.
I think it was a cramp. We had that problem last night, unfortunately. We had several kids cramp up, and, we had some kids who got cramps in both calves. And, it's not a pleasant experience. That's why we saw him, pounding the ground, but it's good to see him back, and it's, a minor injury.
Got to hydrate, right, Coach?
We tell him all day long.
3rd and 13. Split out to the near side is Nicholas Roman. Turner, the tailback. Here's Rogers sweeping to the right side. Great block by Turner, but nice recovery by Lakeside. He'll get inside the 29. He'll bring up about a 4th and 5. Good block, but good recovery on the defense by Lakeside, and 4th down. Big play coming up. 7-6. No scoring thus far here in the third quarter.
You know what? You got to give it to both defenses. Are playing really well.
It's interesting because, both teams kind of practice against the offense they're kind of playing against.
It's true.
That's Roman splitting out to the near side. Rogers and Turner in the backfield. There's Turner. Breaks the first contact to the outside and decleated inside the 30-yard line. Coming over and making the hit was Adrian Olarsaba, the senior cornerback, and a first down. Move the sticks, gets inside the 20.
That's a great run by T-Bone. I mean, you see it here on the replay. He was supposed to go inside. He doesn't see it. He bounces it out. For a big man, he's got good feet. And then he gets north-south enough where he gets that first down. So a great play by him.
One thing to bounce it outside. He's a physical runner. He likes the contact. But, man, he was scooting there, Coach.
I was impressed.
1st and 10 from the 18. This is Rogers trying that same side, and he'll be sidled out of bounds inside the 10. When they run left, they're running behind Ascar and Gonzalez, the two big boys up front. When I was talking, and you could probably attest to this, Coach, since you play him, when I was talking to Coach Argumosa, he said, hey, my best unit is my big fatties, my big boys up front. Those 5 guys and those 2 tight ends, the front 7, that's my best unit.
I would agree with him. And when you say fatties, say it with love.
Oh, that's Bruce Rollinson. That's what he calls his guys. And he feeds them, so he can say that. The big boys up front doing the job for both teams, really, in this one.
Fat is beautiful. Just making sure we know that.
Hey, I eat carbs, man. I love the guys who eat the carbs. 4th and 1 coming up. Offense staying on the field. Here we go. Turner. Looks like he got it. Not by much, but just leaned forward. Surged forward, and the sticks move up. 1st and goal coming up. So he'll drop the sticks. About 8.5 yards to go. Under 3 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Ken Batdorf joining us up here. Kind of running a Norte Vista-ish deal here, Coach. Just hand the ball to the big guy and letting the offensive line flatten the defense.
Hey, you know what? It's beautiful. It's fun to watch.
Turn and give. Here's Turner again. And Turner ridden out of bounds.
I think a lot of people forget the aspect of running the ball like this. The clock is going, and your defense gets to rest. So it's going to keep the game under control. And, I mean, Arlington's playing great defense anyways. But if your, let's say, defense is as strong as you would like it to be by running this style of offense, keeps the game closer. And that's kind of what we did many years ago. When you get athletes or kids like Arlington's got that are really physical, you got something special there.
Cohen Darfur on the tackle along with Christian Maldonado for Lakeside. The clock stopped. Oh, it went out of bounds. That's why it stopped. 2:22. A little bit of a wide split on the right side. Let's see if that affects anything. And flags and whistles. Let's see who moved first. So in the first half, it was a couple of mistakes by Arlington that were the difference. And now the penalty on Lakeside. The ball moves inside the 5, just inside the 4-yard line. So still second and goal. Up back is Turner. Tailback is Rogers. First man through, contact early, and then a bunch of his buddies show up. So it moves, you go. The big fella filled Manaohi, the senior from the middle. Now, he was playing with his hand down last year. They stepped him back. He's playing the middle linebacker spot this year. Changed up a little bit. Third down coming up, timeout on the field. And we'll talk it over a little bit. Take us through yesterday's game, Coach. Ken Batdorf in the booth with us, head coach for many years at Norte Vista. Tough one for you guys yesterday. What do you take out of that, Coach?
We saw some good things. We saw some bad things. I mean, some of the good things were our offensive line's got 4 sophomores right now, which is the youngest line I've ever had. And, we had a tailback run for over 130 yards. So that was a positive. Defense played better than I expected. Our scrimmage, I wasn't very happy with it, but, we gave up 30, but, 7 of that was on a silly punt. I'm not even want to talk about it because I'll get upset. But we missed some tackles, and that's a sign of a young team. We got to, shore up those kind of things, play good football. We'll get better. And I think when you have a young team, you can't panic.
I mean, it's a process. It's a process, and there are positives I'm sure you can take out of yesterday's game. And you mentioned, 4 sophomores on the offensive line. That's going to be tough now, but next year and the year after, as you guys move forward.
Yeah, maybe dividends. We hope so. The biggest thing is, we talked about it to our kids today, is our culture. COVID did a number on our culture because we had it where our older kids would teach our younger kids. It's so much more impactful when your older kid teaches it, not the coach. And we kind of lost that. And I talked to my seniors today about it, doing the right thing. If it's adversity, who lifts you up? It's got to be your team, not your coach. I'm going to yell, scream, heck, my voice is almost gone. But when we start learning to do those little things, we're going to be a good football team.
Ken Batdorf joining us in the booth. 3rd and 4 here for Arlington. The player that limped off, Tyler Hunt, went off of his own power, so hopefully not too serious. 3rd down coming up. Rogers to the outside, looking to turn the corner. Touchdown, Arlington. Luke Rogers, the senior, their change of pace back into the end zone, and the lead to the Lions. They had the offensive line on the wide split. What's the strategy behind that, having one side of the line split a little bit wider than the other side, Coach?
Well, it's going to confuse the defense. Any time you get the defensive thinking or wondering why, you've won something. If you watch the replay, watch T-Bone get out there. I love this kid. See him lead the way, and he's looking for some contact. Corner wants no part of it. And a great job by the running back following him in. That's just a super job by a fullback.
And we were joking earlier, 44, the first guy that comes to mind for me is John Riggins. Right.
That's a good one.
And Floyd Little wore 44.
Yes, he did.
He wasn't a big guy, though.
He played big, though.
He did play big.
He came from Syracuse University where they had some amazing running backs.
That's right.
Not aging myself, but.
Who was the other? There was another 44, a blocking back. Not Vardell. Who's the other guy? No, there's Brad Mustard. There's Vardell. I'll remember the name. Didn't the Cowboys, didn't Dallas have a 44, a blocking back 44?
Robert Newhouse.
Was he a blocking back? He was a little
Yes.
guy, right?
Yeah, but he was still a blocker.
Good blocker.
Not that, again, you're talking about the 70s there. You must be old. I grew up in, like, the 90s.
Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So you're an Emmitt Smith guy. See, the greatest running back I ever saw was Eric Dickerson.
No, I think he was a phenomenal running back. I would not say Eric was the best. It'd be really hard for me not to. God, I'm going to go with Sanders.
Okay.
It's great guys out there because he didn't have a lot around him. Walter Payton was pretty phenomenal as well, and you could argue these all day long. Jim Brown. How do you argue against Jim Brown?
If you look at the best 5-year window in the NFL was Dickerson, but the only guy that came close to his numbers was Brown, and he did it twice. Because he played 9 years, so his first 4 years and his last 5-year window was comparable to Dickerson.
Well, Jim Brown played less games.
Right. Well, no, he played. Yeah, he only played. He played 12 back then, and he quit the league to go be a movie star. So Arlington here going for 2. They'll eschew the kicker, and here's Turner, left side. Turns the corner, he's in. T-Bone with the 2-point conversion. 14-7. Arlington leading here with under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
It's interesting you talk about how Jim Brown went into acting and giving up, football. Jeff Gorham and I thought about going into strip teasing, and we found out they would pay us to keep our clothes on. So it was fantastic.
It's good. Yeah. You got to work the leverage, Coach. You're a running game guy. It's all about the leverage. The great Ken Batdorf with us here at the end of the third quarter. Arlington takes the lead. Arlington will face Coach Batdorf in the River Valley League, as they're now both Arlington and Norda Vista in the same league. Where's that matchup? At Novi on October 7th. That's when Arlington will play Norda Vista at Zach Erp Stadium.
And it's going to be a good one. I'll tell you what, our league is really going to be tough this year.
I don't know if I'm sure you were looking. Ramona at last check was up on North at halftime.
21-6, correct?
It was 21-13.
Okay,
last
sorry.
that I saw,
You got a newer one than I did.
You guys did a nice job on Ramona last year, though, Coach. I'll tell you. So here's the kickoff. Marcus Cudahy, who's Jeff Gorham's new favorite kicker, kicks it deep from the 9-yard line. Back it comes. And DeHardy goes down. DeHardy, the return. Ricky Silva with the tackle for Arlington. DeHardy's an interesting case, Coach. He's a linebacker who they have return kicks.
That's unusual. But you know what? It's high school football. There's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Wild, wacky stuff, as they used to say on The Tonight Show. Lakeside will tee it up from the 24, 1st and 10. Ghazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham with you. We got Ken Batdorf on the mic, head coach at Norda Vista. Shared an office for many years with Jeff. I have to ask you some questions about that, Coach. Quick throw complete to Jenkins. Jenkins dances up to the 25. Great open field tackle.
Hey, how was Ken there on the mic?
Akili Thomas with the tackle. He was great.
No, he's never great.
It was like when Ed McMahon couldn't be there and they bought in Elliott Gould.
That's exactly what it is. Ken Batdorf, I tried to convince him to retire last night. We talked last night about 11:30. I said, just retire.
He's got a daughter he's got to put through college. He ain't retiring anytime soon.
He can retire. I told him, let's just retire and we'll hang out together. He likes
you
to go.
You got kids. That's why you're doing this, because you got kids you got to put through college.
I'm not putting them through college. They can go on their own.
Oh, wow. You're strict.
Yeah.
From the 25. Maldonado will take it himself. Finds a little bit of space. Over the 30. Still driving.
There you go. That's the rugby scrum right there.
Up to the 32-yard line, so it'll be close to a first down. It'll be about 2 yards short. He probably saw what T-Bone Turner was doing and said, give me some of that. We'll tick down to the end of the third quarter here at 14-7. So Arlington's defense has certainly stepped up. Their head coach, also their defensive coordinator, play that 4-3, cover 3, and he explained to me why he likes another look at Maldonado. I think that was Thomas, the first guy in, and then Young Hernandez in on the hit as well, number 27. Third down play, it'll be a first down. Joe Hernandez gets the first down up over the 35 to the 36-yard line. Sticks move up, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. 14-7 in favor of Arlington, and been a defensive slugfest here, Jeffrey.
You gotta like it. I'm more of an offensive guy. I like to see.
It's like Boyd Grant's coaching these teams.
It's exactly.
Vomit ball. Rest in peace, Boyd Grant. Your dad must have known Boyd Grant. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. But hey, we had Ken Batdorf. What did he have? Anything smart to say?
There's a lot of bad stuff about you.
That's all
No,
right.
you know, it's interesting. He could, I think, if Coach ever wanted to not coach anymore, he could do the thing. He could be John Madden, the John Madden of high school football. You know.
Yeah. The only thing is, you get Ken Batdorf before the season. He has a falsetto voice, and then about a week and a half in, he sounds like that. Sounds like he's.
I'm telling you, listen. When Scott Brocious gets rid of me, you should slide over and be Pat Summerall and let him be John Madden, and you guys would be great.
We'd be fighting every 5
It's
minutes.
good. It's good for
We'd be
ratings.
punching each other out.
Speaking of punching and fighting, this has been
A
a bit of a dogfight.
It has been. But no, Ken Batdorf, though, he sounds like he eats a swallow of sandpaper.
He is the ferryman. Would you get on an unsecured raft with that guy? Particularly in the underworld, you know. 1st and 10, line is the 32. That's Jenkins in motion. Give right up the middle. Here's Hernandez. Finding some space. 30, inside the 30, tackled from behind. Flips the field. 51-yard pickup down to the 21-yard line.
Could we have an overtime here in the first game of the season?
Daniel Gonzalez with the tackle. Touchdown saving tackle for Arlington. They call it down to the 21. That's a 57-yard run. 1st and 10 for Lakeside, I form. 2 receivers to the top of your screen, Powell and Jenkins. And Maldonado takes it himself. He's got a lot of space into the end zone. 21-yard touchdown run, and right back comes Lakeside.
Well, we saw this just a couple minutes ago, and obviously Coach Seidler saw that hole and ran it to perfection. Once again, I think they got about 6 or 7 yards the last time they ran that little sneak.
And this is, we talked about this before the game. I thought one of the advantages is Yepes is on to try the point after. The experience of Rene Maldonado. He's had a full year under his belt at quarterback, 1,400 total yards last year. He's a dual threat, running and passing the football.
Those going to move it a little closer here. Do you go for 2?
I think you tie the game here.
You got to tie it, yep.
You want to get confidence. This young guy, the kicker, Harold Yepes, is a junior, came through their system, was a JV guy last year. We mentioned already Adrian Serrato, big shoes to fill from last year. There's the run by Hernandez.
And what a great tackle here. You see exactly textbook, grab from behind, try to strip the ball out, but a great run there. And there's the exact same play we saw early in that drive.
And you're right, Jeff. They're going to go for 2. Here's Christian Maldonado. Gets stood up early, and he got in. Second effort got him in. The 2-point conversion is good. Makes it 15-14. So James Seidler rolling the dice a little bit.
They're still talking over there, but
Christian Maldonado, the younger brother of Rene Maldonado, takes the handoff and gets in for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, great churning there. I mean, he took a shot the first time and just kept those legs moving.
So the lead to Lakeside here in the fourth quarter, and put the pressure on Arlington now. Get a look at the Arlington Lions. That Arizona State kind of a look, right?
Yeah. No more Jaden Daniels anymore at Arizona State.
LSU.
Starting quarterback at LSU.
Baton Rouge. LSU, as they call it.
And there's more Bachmeyers. There's Hank Bachmeyer, the great quarterback at Boise State.
We found out about the Bachmeyers. They live in the Lakeside District.
Yeah, and their name is Bear and Tank or Hank. Oh, no, Tank.
Here's Roman breaking through. I'm sorry, that's Rogers all the way. Touchdown! Kickoff return for a touchdown. No laundry on the field.
Captain Luke Rogers, Captain America. I don't know about all the dancing Luke Rogers is doing here, though.
Oh, now they're going to throw a flag.
Oh, no. The Boo Birds are out. I don't know what the flag was on.
Celebration, I would guess.
No. Personal foul.
Wait, they're going to. Oh, wow. Are they going to take the touchdown off the board?
They
That would
did.
upset me. They took the
They
touchdown off the
did.
board. And Matt Ariano, whose dad is a legend here. So from the 25-yard line, Rogers breaks the initial wedge, and then he gets outside. He makes a move right here, and is like DoorDash, he's to the house. So a nice run either way. It won't count, but it'll be Arlington football. Wow.
So exactly what happened. It was a personal foul. I didn't see where it happened. I thought maybe it was the celebration.
That's what I thought. I thought it was being assessed on the kickoff.
I might have given Luke Rogers a flag just because of the way he danced. Great run, but needs to work on those dance moves. Needs to watch a little bit.
Oh, come on. You could tell he was paying homage to Natalie Imbruglia in Torn. Come on, man. These kids learn something and you mock them for it?
Oh, no.
He had that in his back pocket all game, Jeff.
I'm gonna call Luke Rogers, Captain Rogers, and say, hey, buddy, let's work on that dancing.
From the 35, Arlington football. So the touchdown wiped away. Not quite sure why. This is dancing is Hogan. And down he goes. Another flag comes in. Our white hat is Matt Ariano. It's going to be marked off against Arlington. Now, you said, is it Matt's father?
Yep.
Was both a basketball and a football coach here at Arlington concurrently.
And the baseball coach concurrently.
Wow. He
was
must have had all the athletes.
He had some great athletes. He's Ramona Ram, of course, which makes him wonderful anyways to come over here to Arlington.
Face mask. Timeout on the field. So 15-14 Lakeside with the lead. We thought Arlington had electrified this home crowd. A 75-yard kickoff return from Luke Rogers wiped off the board because of a personal foul.
And I didn't see where it happened. I was all over that field looking.
10:50 to go in the fourth quarter. It is week 0 action here. Gazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham with you. Thanks for football. John Corona did a great job. You did a great job with that interview at halftime, and thanks for Ken Batdorf for stopping by.
Why are we thanking Ken Batdorf?
Well, no, it's almost like he came in for therapy because they lost yesterday.
And
I didn't want to say that when he was here because he got upset.
I'll say it. He definitely needed therapy. We were talking. I always tell you we talk after every game.
Right.
And we came into the game tonight, walked on the field, and he was calling me a wimp because I got like teary-eyed a little bit, just because it's the first home game, and I was thinking of Sam Peachy, the Danny Ariano, and all those guys. He made fun of me, but now he called me last night and I had to talk him off the ledge. I felt like a first responder. He sounded sad. I sat on the phone with him. My wife said, "Go in the other room. You're waking us up."
Oh wow!
Yeah.
First down, they need to get to the 45-yard line.
He's a great coach. He's a horrible human being, but he's a great coach.
Logan up to the 20-yard line. So 5 yards on the first down play.
But see, I know why Ken Batdorf is here. All joking aside, a big fan of Kevin Argamosa, and remember his former assistant coach, the great Rick Covington, is on staff. So that it's nice when the synergy between these guys, the coaching trees, they root for each other, which is nice to see.
That's good. That's always good to see. Second down coming up from the 20, second and 25. They'll give to Turner, and somebody grabs him down around the ankles and drops him.
I'm curious, did Ken Batdorf like the T-bone?
He did. He said, that's what he said. He said ribeye. He said ribeye. He said if his wife would make him get the filet. Mana Ohi on the tackle there. The linebacker played a little 3 technique last year.
What would be your cut of steak?
I've become a big fan of the sirloin tip because it's very versatile. You can do it in a lot of different things, And if I'm going, if I'm out in L.A., I go for the street carne asada.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want one of those big ones that has a big bone.
Listen,
it looks like a
you got to come out.
Hammer.
You got to bring the wife. Third down coming up here. Nice play in the backfield there by Lakeside. Complete to Roman. Gets past the first tackle up to the 30-yard line and spun down.
Yeah, I want to try a tomahawk steak. I think that's what they're called. The big giant ones looks like Fred Flintstone would eat.
Tackle on the play by Jonathan Garay. We've called his name a lot tonight. It's fourth down now. If you bring the wife, we'll go downtown L.A., 6th and Bonnie Bray. There's a nightly, after about 5 o'clock, there's a nightly Guatemalan market.
What?
And you got this Guatemalan rotisserie chicken. It hits the spot, man. It is some of the best stuff I've ever had. They have a bunch of other stuff, too, if you like. They have steak, and they have fish and shrimp and all that stuff.
My favorite Guatemalan food is pupusas. I think those are Guatemala.
Ethan Durant with the kick. Back to field it is Christian Reed, and whistles and flags.
Yeah, have you ever had a pupusa?
I'm sure I've had a pupusa.
It's like tortillas with stuff inside of it. It's amazing.
It's kind of like an empanada, but it's like fluffier.
Yeah, and it's flat. It's wonderful stuff.
Looking for Matt Ariano. He's walking back.
The penalty was against. I thought it was against Lakeside, which it is, I believe.
Yeah, it's gonna be because they're marking it back from where he caught the ball.
Ken Batdorf's over here yelling at parents.
Do they know who he is? They must know.
No, I don't think they do. No, I love it. Ken Batdorf.
So Lakeside pinned back to the 15. They lead 15-14, so a big stand coming up here for the Arlington defense. And let me tell you something. Kevin Argamosa, he's a humble guy. He has some very interesting things in his background.
I think he's wonderful.
He's a history teacher at Arlington. Maldonado flings it. It's complete to the sideline and up close to a first down. That was Powell with the catch. And they'll move the sticks. So he said he was inspired by a professor at Pasadena City College where he attended, Ray Colladron. It was kind of a professor that inspired him, got him really interested in history.
Then he went on to play at where? Whittier?
Whittier College, yeah.
He was a poet.
Up the middle. Another first down. The middle of that line surging.
The house that Richard Nixon built, wasn't it?
Well, first of all, do you know where is Whittier?
Where's Whittier?
Yeah.
Whittier?
It's between Whitty and Whittiest. No, I'm kidding. But try that one on Connor when you get home. Penalty brings the run back. But it was interesting. He said, Coach Argamosa said when he was at Los Altos, there was a teacher that was there, had the same last name, and it turned out it was the nephew of his old professor.
Really?
Yeah, and he'd asked about him, and then at that point he had passed away. But he went to Whittier. You You know who 2 football coaches were at Whittier College? You mentioned Richard Nixon. Now, Richard Nixon played football there. He never coached football there.
That's true.
From 1951 to 56 at Whittier College, George Allen was the head coach.
I did know that.
He left to join the L.A. Rams staff. But then you know who replaced him?
I'm going to say, I do know this.
Maldonado loses the football. Recovered by Arlington. Maldonado lost the football as he crossed the 25-yard line and picked up by the Lions. 3rd turnover of the game, and this is a key spot for the defense of Lakeside now. The defense of Arlington makes a play, and let's see what the Lancers have. Don Coryell. So from 51 to 59, I think, because Coryell was there 3 years. And then Coryell left to join the USC staff in 1960.
That's right.
He was there for, I think, 12. Oh, no, he was there for a year, then got the San Diego State job. Was there 12 years, then got the Charger job. Ball at the 29-yard line of Lakeside for Arlington. Here's the give. This is Rogers. Stopped in his tracks after about a 3-yard gain. Christensen makes the hit for Lakeside. Clock moving. Call it 2nd and 9.
Yeah, Don Coryell's a lot like Ken Batdorf.
They're very similar in that they both like ribeyes.
They like to throw the football.
Nick Roman split out to the top of the screen. Here's the give to Rogers. Turner blocking. Nice play underneath. Sliding in there, Angelo Mares tripped up the ball carrier Rogers. He needed help to clean up, but still just about a 1.5 yard gain. 3rd down coming up. Call it 3rd and 8.
Big play here.
Let's see. I'm guessing this would be 4-down territory, though.
Yeah.
Unless they want to bring on their kicker, which would make you happy.
Make me go crazy.
The kicker whose number we didn't know because he had a dentist appointment. I know dentist appointments make you crazy. Yeah. Look at Morris there getting underneath and just kind of grabbing the ankle.
Yeah, I'm definitely an anti-dentite. But yet I have pearly whites. Pearly!
Durant to the top of your screen. Bottom of your screen is Akili Thomas. The give to Turner. And Turner dives forward. He'll get inside the 25. Losing his helmet on the hit was Mares again.
He's lost his helmet a couple times.
So Mares kind of marking Turner, and it's a 4th down. I don't think this is field goal territory. I think this is 4-down territory, Jeffrey.
Yes, it is.
Opener between Arlington and Lakeside. The Lions coming off a Division 13 championship and a trip to a state final, christening a new stadium, and Mares just, lowers the hat, as they say. So it's 4th and short, a 4th and 2, just outside the 22-yard line. Ball needs to cross the 20-yard line for a 1st down. Rogers in the backfield with Turner. Turner. Somebody had him down low, and look at Rene Maldonado comes in. He's the first man there, and they stop him. Ball over on downs to Lakeside. The turnover by the Arlington defense, and the Lancer defense now stands tall, Jeff.
Yeah, both teams have really stepped up in key moments here. Another mistake that cost, a touchdown for Arlington is now the gain here for Lakeside.
So here's the play. Maldonado, the first man, wrapping him up around there, and then he just waits for his buddies to show up.
Got to go north-south. You can't run side. You got to smash it up the middle.
Especially because Turner's been having success with that all night. 5:21 to go. Lakeside now. They're going to run their 4-minute.
Got to put a little sauce on T-bone. A little Worcestershire.
I'm a big horseradish guy.
Oh, I love horseradish.
Running the right side. Just over the 30 on that outside. Clock starting to tick. Ball up to the 32-yard line, so About a 2nd and 7 coming up. Running that real tight set. The turn and the give. This is Rene Maldonado up the right side. Finally goes down over the 40 to about the 44-yard line.
The poise from the Maldonado brothers been pretty good tonight.
Maldo 1 and Maldo 2, yeah.
Is that what they call him, you said?
Well, the younger brother's Maldo 2. That's what James Seidler told me.
We got to give them better names.
But, I mean, we talked about it before the game. These teams fairly evenly matched. They run very similar offenses, and I thought the difference might be the experience of Rene Maldonado at quarterback had the advantage of playing a full season. Eddie Roy, just a sophomore.
Yeah, you and I talked before the game. We said, hey, it could come down to a pass, and that really could.
But I think Eddie's looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy who doesn't have a lot of varsity reps, I mean, he's looked good today.
Like I said, poised in the backfield or under center.
And they're just running that right side.
And he's in no rush. I mean, you watch him. He's for a guy starting a varsity game here. He's held himself in pretty high regard here, high standard. I am impressed though with the way Lakeside they haven't made too many penalty mistakes that have cost them. They played pretty smart football here for game 1, which is very surprising.
Joe Hernandez carried the load in the first half, and they were impressed by how he did work in the weight room in the offseason. And here's the younger Maldonado right up the middle. And he'll go down there. Castillo in on the hit. Also in there, Jeremy Rodriguez for Arlington as we tick down to 3 minutes to go here.
And talking about that weight room, the last year, the River Valley League was tough. And we know that. The CIF champ came out of it. Ramona was great, but the strength of Norte Vista last year, really was the difference between Ramona winning that game was the weight room stuff. But I'll tell you what, it sounds like Ramona and Ken Mashinsky lived in the weight room this summer.
Well, and that's what James Seidler told me. He said, they made the playoffs. They the last 2 weeks, their finale against Poly, they had a chance to finish second place in the Inland Valley. They lost that game, 22-16. And then they lost to Quartz Hill. It was a close game, 28-21. It was the closest game Quartz Hill had because they won it all. They won Division 12. And he said, he got the team together. He said, I wasn't, it was like, Hyman Roth and when he does the whole thing about Mo Green. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. No, he said, we assessed where we were. And we said, listen, part of the reason we didn't get any further is the depth. But part of it also is we really got to focus on the weight room so that our second and third string guys, when the first string guys need a breather, need a blow, or need to step away, those second and third string guys are tested as much as those first string guys in the doing the work in the weight room. And I think they got 20 guys back from last year, Jeff. They look like they're a little deeper this year, and that's what you do. That's how you build a program.
Yeah, exactly. That's that service mentality, the Army mentality of Coach.
And it's interesting because Coach Argamosa told me a lot of the same stuff with regard to his team. So a first down on the play, and the turn and give. One brother hands to the other, and a couple of yards. Just to want to keep the clock moving here.
I think the best story that Argamosa told you and I right before the game today was he said, I came in, and I expect a little blowback from the players. Hey, we're not going to listen to you, Coach.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't encounter that.
He told me that, too.
All.
He said the buy-in was almost immediate. But it's interesting because I asked him, I said, what'd you think? And he said, I'll be honest with you. When we won that first playoff game, I was happy. I'm like, all right. Like, I can, not in a negative. He's like, I can build on this. We've won a playoff game, so now I can teach these lessons. He just kept winning and winning and winning. And under 2 minutes to play here, 2nd and 8 for Lakeside. They'll just turn and give it to Rene Maldonado. Gets around to the right side. And down he goes after picking up another first down right around the 20-yard line. And the clock will continue to run, and it looks like Lakeside's going to come away with a tight one here, barring any kind of miracle late for Arlington. Just one timeout left for Lakeside. Arlington has exhausted all 3 of their timeouts. But he said, hey, our goal this year is to finish over 500 and make the playoffs, which it probably would have been had they not gone on that. So and he's got a number of guys back. I think Arlington has 13 of 22 starters returning. So it's a pretty good number of starters. And his young guys we've seen today, I mean, look at the sophomores. Broderick Burr, Pasalakwa's played well. We saw Akili Thomas has played well. And the quarterback, Eddie Roy, has played well. So his young guys, they weren't the problem tonight. First down and 10. He's going to let the clock run as much as it can. And Maldonado dancing around to the outside, down near the goal line at about the 5.
I'll tell you what, though, Hillcrest, all the schools in the River Valley League, I think they thought Arlington might have had a little bit of a letdown, but it appears that they've just added to that strength. And I think, you can talk, hey, they won a Division 13 CIF championship. Hey, that just shows the mental toughness that these kids had.
Well, remember something, though. Not just 0-7. I think they lost 32 of 33 games.
Yes, they did.
Until they finished 7. So that shows character to me.
Yes.
Because at 0-7, it would have been, here we go again. But that's not what happened.
They turned it around, and it was evident from, we saw them early, and then we saw them at the end of the year, and they were a different ball club. They're focused. Everybody on the
and I'll tell you what. You're a coach. You'll understand this. When I talked to Coach Argamosa, he said he was really disappointed and he lost that game against Patriot. And he said, "Hey, we finally get off. We're finally playing well, and it looks like the clock's gonna stop, and they're gonna just give the ball over they're gonna call timeout here, and they're gonna just kneel down with it at a second and a half left to play." But he was disappointed in how they played against Patriot. He said, I wasn't disappointed that we lost because, you're going to lose games. But he said, I didn't like how we approached, how we were in practice, how we were in walkthrough. I didn't like those things,
Yeah.
And I guess he already knew they'd won the coin flip, and he was just disappointed because, we're going to the playoffs, and I would have loved to have gotten to the playoffs, coming off a 31-10 win.
Yeah, exactly.
We did not do that. Now, obviously, it worked out for him. But that's why I like, Coach Argamo. I mean, that's his mentality.
Great guy. Like I said, I've had a chance to get to know him a little bit. And everybody I talk to that knows him, they all say the same thing, just a great guy.
Yeah.
And happy for him. I mean, like I said, I hash on this, but Ken Batdorf shows up. To be that guy, to be a great guy to support, Coach Argamosa. That's why these guys coach football. That's why they play football. It's the relationships.
And that'll be it. The clock will tick away. And that'll be it. A 15-14 Lakeside, the second straight year they knock off Arlington. And there were some fun moments tonight for the home crowd. The opening game for Arlington's home stadium, the first true home game they've had since they opened the school in 1973. But what you take away from it is the effort on both sides. Hey, it's week 0. You can work on with all this stuff.
Yeah, and you can't be down. You lose by 1, you win by 1. But you played a game. And you played the game the way you wanted it to be played.
How big was that going for 2 by James Seidler?
A very big call. And the mistake by Arlington really gave them the victory tonight. And that's what caused the loss, was the Arlington mistakes. And they were they were big during key opportune times.
I also want to give credit to the Lancers defense. The turnover, Arlington knocking on the door, and the Lancers stopped them.
Yeah.
So they got a big stop late. They made plays late, and then they were able to run the clock out, running the football.
But, yeah, both of these coaches have to be happy with the outcome, but you got to be happy with the way you played. I think Arlington is going to be a lot better than they've been, considering they just won a CIF championship, and I think Lakeside has really turned the corner and has the possibility to make big waves in their conference.
James Seidler gets to go home next week, the head coach of Lakeside. He's going to take his team to San Fernando. He's a Valley kid. He played at Sylmar back when he was in high school. And then a great game for Arlington, a good test for Arlington. They're at Poly next week.
Oh, tough one. John Rice, one of our favorite guys.
Shakespearean scholar John Rice.
And
Iago! Iago!
And he's one of those guys. He had a great year last year, a much better year than we thought. And his freshman team was amazing.
Well, here we go. We'll recap it here. 15-14 is the final. We'll go back to the first quarter. And Lakeside took the ball, and they drove right down the field in the opening drive, got into the end zone. That was the quarterback, Rene Maldonado, putting it in. And then they go down the field. They get the interception. 2 interceptions for Arlington. So Arlington's defense, I thought, was up to the challenge. What did you think, Jeff?
I thought they were. I thought they played smart. That's Rick Covington. That's our guy. And they played smart football. They just made a couple mistakes and cost them the game.
There's the touchdown by Turner, and there's the pick here by Akili Thomas. And I really liked how this young man played tonight, Jeff. He was very active, linebacker kind of rolling up, almost was a safety when they dropped to the 4-2-5.
Exactly, yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful player.
So a sophomore and about 4 sophomores really contributing to the effort. And there's the touchdown from Rogers.
And the assist from the T-bone.
Turner with the block, as Ken Batdorf pointed out. Here's the 2-point conversion. This time Turner will do it. Doesn't need any help. He'll do it all by himself to make it 14-7. That was in the third quarter. And then here's the big run. And I think I attribute it to Hernandez. No, this is Christian Maldonado with this run. 50-plus yard run to put the ball down at about the 20-yard line. And then the older brother, Rene Maldonado, the dual-threat quarterback, takes it the rest of the way. 21-yard touchdown run, breaks a tackle at the end there. He ran for 700, threw for 700 last year, off to a good start. This year, the 2-point conversion, second effort from Christian Maldonado behind the big boys up front. And both offensive lines played very well today. Here's the controversial play of the game. This is a 75-yard kickoff return that would have given Arlington the lead. It was wiped away because of a penalty, Jeff.
Yeah, that was right there. That's the play of the game. And what a tough, tough call and a tough pill to swallow, because you could have won the game here opening the stadium.
Lakeside 15-14, the win over Arlington. Final thoughts, Jeff Gorham.
Just, a good first game. I'd love to see both of these teams come week 5, week 6, the improvements that they're going to show. The mistakes are going to cut down. The fitness will be better. And I think both of these teams are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's going to be tough for both, because Lakeside's going to be tough because they're in a 4-team league. They got to finish in the top 2, and they got Vista Del Lago and Poly, who are both pretty good in that league with them, and that's going to be tough. But Arlington, too, in the River Valley, I think it's anybody's game in the River Valley. I know you guys think there's favorites, but yeah, there's always those teams in the River Valley that, a bounce here, a bounce there. Ramona looked good today, though, from what I saw.
They did. And remember, the River Valley League is the only league that had a 5-way championship run.
Right, that's true. That's true. Well, again, great to be here to open Arlington. First of all, to acknowledge, the championship the Lions won last year, and to open the new stadium. I felt great to be here. I don't know about you, Jeff.
Oh, I've been looking forward. Circled this when we found out that they had a stadium and they were going to have the first home game after a CIF championship. You got to go for it. Couldn't be happier to cover this game. And I'll tell you what, you and I have been friends a long time, and my favorite part of the year is coming here to work for Riverside TV and work with you, Gazal.
Likewise here, buddy. We're great to chat with you again, and we'll be back next week. And the Lions, tough one today against Lakeside. Congratulations to head coach James Seidler and the Lancers at Lakeside. They got a tough one next week on the road at San Fernando. Arlington, as we mentioned, they play Poly next week. I believe it's a King. Is it King or Ramona?
I'm not too sure. Remember, they always moving around these rivalries.
Yeah. They're on the road at Poly next week. That's all you need to know. And they'll be back. I think that we saw some good things from the Lions tonight.
And we will have the King Wolves next week. Jason McBain's.
For Jeff Gorham and an entire award-winning crew, Ross, Liam, Adrian, Alex, Joe, Kimmy, and anybody else I forgot. And, of course, the great Scott Brochus back in the truck handling all the troubleshooting today. Our final here from Arlington High School, 15-14, Lakeside with the win over the home team, the Lions of Arlington. We'll talk to you next week from King. It'll be King Redlands, Jeff and I on the call. So long, everybody.